Hi, this is Sutima Fowler, General Manager and Partner of Capstone IT, an iconic IT company. Today we're here with Holly Dutcher. She's the Executive Director of Cure Childhood Cancer Association. And today we're in for a treat because everybody complains about not having enough resources. If only I had more money, if only I had more people. But you're gonna hear when 5 years ago when Holly came into this organization, where it was and how she was able to take it to where it is today with very limited resources. So welcome, Holly.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Rochester Rockstars, where our goal is to inspire other entrepreneurs watching that are dealing with the same things the rest of us are. So with that, I want to go just dive right in to this limited resources thing. So what was the organization, what was Cure like 5 years ago when you first came on board, and what have you been able to achieve? And is your secret that everybody's just giving you lots of money while you're sleeping?
No, not at all. So when I joined the organization, I was the only full-time employee, and I had one part-time employee that worked in the office, another part-time employee that did some programming, and then an employee at the hospital. So I was the only full-time employee really running the office. Net assets were at about $425,000 back in 2015, and we just finished our fiscal year. It's unaudited, of course, and we have over $1 million in net assets. So
Awesome.
in a short period of time, we were able to double what we were doing. I have one full-time staff member with me and 4 part-time staff members, so we've grown the organization, which really means that we've been able to enhance what we're able to offer families during their difficult times. To answer your question, it really, and I know this is probably the worst answer you could ever get, but it's just passion. I love what I do, and I am out there knocking on doors, talking to people about the importance of the organization, and I really feel as though when you're passionate about what you're doing and you love what you're doing, it shows, and it's easier to communicate with people and get them on board with what you're doing. The Rochester environment is wonderful because pretty much no matter what your ailment is or whatever your platform is, there's a nonprofit out there for you. There are over 3,000 nonprofits in the Rochester area. For somebody like me, that's challenging because there are over 3,000 nonprofits in the area trying to get some support from the community. So how do we stand out? What do we do differently? And really, it's just, we're this humble grassroots organization that was founded over 40 years ago in Rochester, and I'm just doing my best to continue the mission of the founders that they created over 40 years ago.
So take us back to the beginning. So, I think I hear all the time from other business owners, like, if only I had more resources, if only I had better luck, then I could do all the things I want to do. So when you came in and you started here and you saw that there wasn't a ton of money, but here was this huge mission that you wanted to go after, what was your thought process? What were some of the things you did?
I definitely utilized my networks that were around me. I went to the Aquinas Institute of Rochester and St. Bonaventure University, and
Those are your alma maters.
Yes, they are my alma maters, and St. Bonaventure has this reputation for just having a really great alumni network. So I wanted to tap into that, and given the work that I'm doing here at Cure, it really is rich in the mission of those 2 institutions as well. So by bridging the education that I received at those institutions and really reaching out, there's a lot of no's. I get no's all day long, but for every 49 no's, there's 1 yes, and that just really makes it worth it. So
you guys hear that? She gets no's, 49 no's to get yes. 1 yes.
Yeah, that's probably the ratio too, to be honest with you. But it's just communicating with the network of people that I expose myself to, and really just keep treading the water, and really I'm persistent. I can take a no for sure, and I won't call and bother people if they're a definite no, but if they're on the fence a little bit, I try to see what I can do to persuade them, tell them a little bit more about the mission, and just really share a lot of myself and my passion and the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, because that certainly helps to get people interested and at least to learn a little bit more, and then we can get them more committed as time allows.
So that brings up a good point because the organization's mission is it's great, but it's the subject matter is sad.
Yes.
Children with cancer. So how do you stay motivated being day in and day out, and also employee retention? Because when you're working with such a sad matter, it's like, does it cause burnout?
It definitely causes burnout, and I think you get that from anybody you talk to, whether it be an entrepreneur or a nonprofit. Whenever you have limited resources, there's certainly the opportunity for burnout, and I'm sure that happens. And really, it's just interacting with the families that's helpful. Just yesterday, I had a family contact me that I've known for the 5 years that I've been here, and their daughter just wanted me to visit. That's all. And so I went up, I took an hour out of my day, and I did a word search with their 12-year-old. And that helps to drive me and motivate me even more, because I see firsthand who I'm helping, why we're doing what we're doing, and just keeping that constant interaction with the families really helps to be a driver in those situations where, you might feel discouraged that you're getting all these no's, but at the end of the day, you know that what you're doing is something that you believe in, and you just move forward and do the best you can.
And it's interesting you say that, because in the for-profit business world that I'm in, we have an IT business where business employees are calling us to fix their computer issues, and all day long my guys are solving issues one after the other. People are not calling us because they're excited about the day, right? They're calling us because there's an issue. And so for my guys, that burnout, they're dealing with problems all day long. So I think when we put a client who gives them kudos or something in front of them, that energizes them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and sometimes just going out and seeing the client and what they're solving, the big picture, that gives them the motivation to keep going. So
I think definitely interaction with your clients helps. Again, we're all very busy people. We all have things on our plate. I know that my laundry list continues to grow every day, but it was important to me to take that hour yesterday to go meet with a family and talk with them and put my work aside. It's gonna get done eventually, and just taking those opportunities to really we have a metaphor here at Cure, and we say that parents are like pitchers of water, and all the different things that rely on them are the glasses around them, and if they're not full, they can't fill up those glasses. So you can use that metaphor pretty much with anything. We try to make sure that our employees feel full so that they can enrich everyone around them and do their job and help people, but also maintain as much of a work-life balance as you can. And I think that can kind of resonate with anybody that has a business, making sure that their employees feel full so that they can then give a little bit of themselves forward.
I love that metaphor, keep the pitcher of water full, because if that pitcher goes dry,
you can't do anything.
Yeah, very cool. So then let's talk about with what you mentioned, there's 3,000 nonprofits in the area. So talk a little bit about the Cure's mission and some of your fundraising activities, because you got to get innovative, right? You're competing with other nonprofits for the same dollars.
Well, something that I think is really important is being efficient. So we try to make sure that anything we offer is not duplicative of other organizations in the area. There are over 3,000 nonprofits. They all have their own missions. They might be serving the same group of people, but we do our best to make sure that we are not duplicative of anybody else. If we started doing it first and somebody does it after, that's on them, but we do our best to be efficient from our mission and from where we were started. So I think being responsible.
Can you give an example?
There are other organizations. We've been providing financial assistance to families since 1982, I believe it was. So there are other organizations that provide financial assistance or do things of that nature for families, but it's something that's rich in our roots, and we continue to do it. So unfortunately, there is a little bit of overlap, but for instance, we do work with children with cancer, and there are some wonderful organizations that offer summer opportunities for children in camps and activities. We won't do that because those children are being served by these other organizations that are doing a fantastic job. So we want to be responsible to the Rochester community to make sure that we are utilizing the funds that are given to us responsibly, and really just making sure that we are filling in any gaps of where services are lacking. So you will never see a Cure camp or a Cure summer program, because the other organizations that do that are doing such a phenomenal job.
Yeah, good for you. Realizing what you're good at and what your niche is, and
Yes.
sticking to that niche.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's very important. So can you talk about, September is a big month for you.
Yes.
So what is going on in September?
September is Childhood Cancer and Sickle Cell Awareness Month. And it's absolutely heartbreaking to hear these families call me and say, everything is pink in October. Everyone thinks about breast cancer in October. Why does nobody care about our children? And that really, it hurt me to hear that 4 years ago when I was new to the organization. So I've made it my mission the past 4 years to really do what we can to increase awareness during September for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. The awareness ribbon is gold. So, for example, we have these lawn signs that say "Turn It Gold" in September for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So we're selling those, and it's not a big fundraiser for us. We're pretty much covering the cost of the sign. It's more important to me to make sure that these families feel like they're not alone, and to have people in their community supporting them, where if they're driving by their neighbor's house and if they have a lawn sign out there, they know that they're not alone in their battles. And that's what's more important to me. The money will come eventually, the fundraisers will come, but it's really more about being supportive and being advocates for these families in our community, and making sure that they know that they have a friend in us and we're doing what we can to help them through these difficult times.
Well, I can just certainly say that Rochester and these children and their families are so lucky to have you leading this cause.
Oh,
You're such a rock star, and thank you so much for your time and
Thank
everything
you.
you've shared. And any last words of advice you might have for our viewers?
I think it's important to communicate if you're passionate about something. You can see the fire in my eyes, I think, even through this camera. I love what I do, and loving what you do really helps to drive you. It's infectious. I have board members that tell me that they are involved and they want to be more involved because they feel my passion. So when you're talking to people, regardless of what your industry is, regardless of what your business is, if you're passionate about what you're doing and you feel good about what you're doing, it'll be infectious to people around you, and success will come. It's going to be hard work, and it's not like you're going to go to sleep and people are going to make donations like you were saying, but I think that it says a lot about a person if you can truly see that they enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think you can find passion and enjoyment in anything you're doing. As mundane as while you're just going grocery shopping, you got to bring it. You got to
Yes.
bring that passion. Sometimes people wait for this. One day I'll figure out what my passion is, but I think you can find passion in your everyday work.
And it doesn't have to be a nonprofit. I love what I do. I love this nonprofit, but my former life I was in accounting, and I loved accounting. I know it sounds kind of goofy, but
No,
I
but it's
loved
right.
accounting. So I think just finding your niche and then finding what makes you happy in that role, what makes you passionate about what you're doing, can really drive you to lead you to be a happier person, so that everyone around you is happy and your pitcher is full.
That's fantastic. I love the picture is full. I love that analogy. Thank you for sharing all that. And
course.
thank you guys for watching. I'm sure you learned a lot from this. And you can go to www.rochesterrockstars.com, where you will see other interviews like this as well. And maybe if you want to be interviewed for a future episode, go ahead and fill out the form. Again, it's www.rochesterrockstars.com, and hope to see you soon.